Hello, and thank you for coming to our CS Listen project, a computer science research and data presentation partnered with Create and UCSD. This is our team, D'Angelo, myself, Jocelyn, Arlene, Jasmine, Natalia, Alexis, Angel, and Yusuf.
Our main research question was, which factors heavily affect the number of students taking computer science at Orange Glen? So in order to convey this, we decided to do a slideshow presentation in order to get this point across. We will first talk about our findings on schedule impact, student population in computer science, and knowledge of computer science at Orange Glen. When that is complete, we will then present our overall findings and recommendations to our school and district on how they can improve our computer science programs.
Some background information on our school. Students at OG come from families of diverse ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds. The majority of our school consists of Hispanic Latino students at 87% of our school population. And around 89% of students attending are socioeconomically disadvantaged. For more information, feel free to visit our website. Regarding CES at OGHS, computer science programs and courses have been recently introduced at OGHS, with the first being computer science principles established in 2017, followed by exploring computer science, which was established in 2019. But due to student lack of interest, it is currently not offered this year. And as of this year, AP Computer Science A has been established and is now being offered this year. Current after-school activities include robotics and side coach, which due to the pandemic have been on hold. And we currently have the help of local colleges such as CSforAll, who occasionally come and help with after-school programs such as Code Queens, but due to lack of funding, it is no longer available this year.
For our research question, our group composed a survey with over 300 responses. Within the survey, scaled questions were asked along with yes and no questions. There was an attempt to interview counselors. However, only one was able to provide responses, which was generalized from all the counselors. But at this point, surveys were already conducted and data was compiled.
After we sent out our survey, we pulled out some of the most important questions and further analyzed those results. Those being, do you think certain types of people take computer science? If you had room in your schedule, would you consider taking a computer science course? Do you know what requirement computer science covers for graduation or A through G? Does your current daily schedule impact the classes you decide to take? And have you heard of computer science on campus? We use these in order to find the factors that affect students taking computer science at Orange Glen High School.
And these were the findings we were able to find from the data Okay, so this question is about what kind of people take computer science. From our total of 303, the majority said no with 211 and yes with 92 responses.
When asked what kind of people would take it, the most significant responses were smart people, those with plans to take a career in computer science or coding, and those interested in computers.
We saw that gender did not play a significant part in this question.
So this question regards whether students would consider taking a computer science course. We found the overall number of students who would consider the course as shown on the graph.
Along with this, we were also able to find both gender responses. And from the data, we found that the majority who said no to considering the class at all were female students. In general, there was a majority of students who didn't know of the course.
With all of our overall findings, we were able to find the responses with each ethnicity as shown on the chart below. And we saw that ethnicity did not play a major factor in this question.
Moving on to the next survey question, do you know what requirement computer science covers for graduation or A through G? A through G requirements are the minimal series of classes a high school student must take in order to be eligible for admission to a CSU or a UC in California. When surveyed with this question, we found that there is minimal knowledge on this topic.
We see that the majority of students do not know what A through G requirement CS covers. You'll see in the data, it shows that the answer no is the overwhelming majority.
If we look at the graph between the difference of males and females, prefer not to say is included, we see that less females seem to know what computer science covers. We also see that lower classmen are less likely to know. Of course, we have a few theories on why that is. Perhaps that may be because they are less likely to be interested in computer science, but that leads to the question, why?
As we look at all the data for this specific question, we don't see one group has a drastically different outcome. If we look at the data as a whole, we see that the information projected out about CS is lacking. Therefore, the real finding to this question is that we need to do better projecting the benefits of computer science much more than we do now.
With our survey question, we will be examining certain student group responses in order to determine whether the responses show any trends we have in our computer science population. When looking at our surveyed group, they seem to be split more or less on class decisions, but when regarding their schedule. But when further analyzing the data, two things stand out.
And as you can see, while examining the number of female students who took the survey, you see that a majority of them use their schedule to decide which classes they take and how the majority of the students were upperclassmen. This not only corroborates the findings of the previous research question, but it could also mean that those female students are more likely to take more academic classes or APs rather than computer science when compared to male students or underclassmen in general. Additionally, when looking at our bar graph and considering our previous statement, it can be determined that underclassmen and male students are less likely to account for their schedule than upperclassmen and female students.
These 2 points could explain why there are fewer female students in computer science and why the computer science classes have more underclassmen. So in short, yes, daily schedule seems to be a contributing factor in our computer science population in Orange Glen.
When surveyed with the survey question, have you heard of computer science on campus? We find that most majority of students have heard of CS. However, we find some interesting results when we look at the difference between grade level and gender.
Looking at the graphs, we see that more sophomores and juniors have heard of computer science on campus. This may be because these years are the most influential in determining college acceptance. Therefore, students are more aware when it comes to choosing classes that could potentially benefit them when deciding on a major.
When looking at the difference between gender, we see that more males have heard of computer science on campus. Considering that more females were surveyed, we see this as an indicator that males are more likely to go into computer science. This is a commonly known thing which may cause females to steer away from computer science because they might feel dominated. With this information known, we can infer that computer science has to be equally pushed out to all genders and grade levels.
Our overall conclusions is that major factors that affect the number of students seeking computer science include gender and grade level.
We came up with 3 different ways to enact change, which can be applied to both school and district-wide. The first one is being able to have in-class recruitments, where a speaker would be sent out and give any information about the course and spread general knowledge. It can be a student or person who currently works or was involved with the course and can be brought in to talk. We want to emphasize female representation because of our findings, and there was also an idea of presenting to younger kids and let the knowledge spread.
We can get more students involved through school publications and talking about the benefits of computer science through media accounts, or whether it's a school newspaper, and talking about the benefits of A through G requirements. Many, as we have seen, most of our students don't know that APCSA covers A through G requirements for a math course, or whether APCSP covers a science class for A through G requirements. And also we can, when going to middle schools, advertise CS and talking about what after school clubs we have and the fun we have in the class, because most students think that computer science, we just sit in a classroom and talk about talk about code the whole time, and just sit on a computer just coding the whole time.
Our third recommendation is to utilize our counselors to help recruit more students. They should include a description of the class to help clarify any misconceptions and overall create a wider interest in computer science.
At this moment, we open the floor to anyone with questions, comments, or concerns, but we would like to thank you overall for your time and for coming to our presentation.